Welcome back, everybody, to episode 14 of Eagles Latest by FanArch. I am your host, Blake McQueary, and we are going to break down the Chiefs game just a little bit more. Obviously, more numbers are out. Obviously, more footage is out. The All 22 came out. I don't have full access to it, but was able to see some clips of it on social media, things like that, of people posting from the All 22. If you don't know what the All 22 is, that is basically a slowed down, more aerial view of the field. It kind of literally gives you a view of the whole field that a broadcast does not do when you're watching the game on TV. So that's what the All 22 is. It's easier for you to look at formations, look at what the offense is in versus what the defense is in. You can't really look at that fully when you're looking at a broadcast on TV. So that's what the All 22 is. But yeah, as always, we got stuff to talk about that deals with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm so excited to get into it today. So without further ado, let's get right to. First up, the tush push. Receiving some backlash after that Chiefs game. I'm gonna say it just straight up. It's looking like the tush push is gonna be banned next season, 100%. I'm actually at the point now. I didn't acknowledge this. I don't really think last episode too much that it's going to be banned. I did acknowledge the tush push, what happened, things like that. Didn't really acknowledge kind of the, what can you say, the end. I don't really know the word, like the outcome of what happened from the tush push and the false starts yesterday. I'm saying yesterday. This is gonna come out on this obviously is gonna come out on Tuesday. So Sunday, I'm recording this on Monday, but it's not looking good for the tush push. It's going to be banned next season. I am on that train. I am in full belief that it will be banned next season. It's on life support. It is 100% on life support. The false starts. That is literally what everyone is talking about. I think that is the number one takeaway from the game against the Chiefs on Sunday was the false starts. Like I said, everyone's talking about them. The attention, it's there. The attention is there. Um, th- Full attention on the false starts of the tush push. Everybody is figuring it out. I don't know fully now, going back to when this thing started in 2022-21. I don't know how often they were false starting on these tush pushes, but the refs haven't been catching them, and now all of a sudden everyone caught them. Four of the seven from Sunday's game against the Chiefs included early guard movement. Four of the seven. So false start four times. The refs did not call it once. They missed it four times. I'm trying a hard. I'm having a hard time believing they missed it four times. Um, there are some people blaming the Eagles. There are some people getting mad at the Eagles. This is boring football. They're just running the tush push. They're cheating on the tush push. Um, yes, the false starts. You can say that, obviously. But why are we blaming the Eagles for this? We're gonna blame the Eagles because they know that they can get away with something that is against the rules and use that to their advantage. That's not that doesn't add up to me. That doesn't sit right with me. That is the ref's job to identify the false starts. Like they get paid to do that stuff. If you didn't know, they get paid to do that stuff. They get paid a good amount of money actually to do that stuff. That is not on the Eagles at all. And then a few analysts had some things to say. Fox Sports Rules analyst Dean Blandino, he sounded off on it during the game. He said, quote, "I am done with the tush push, guys. It's a hard play to officiate." Although I agree in terms of the spotting of the ball that it is hard to officiate, I don't know fully what Blandino meant by that behind like the false starts and officiating that. That's not you if you're going to try to if you're saying it's hard to catch a false start from refs who are trained and paid to do that, that is their job. That is their job. So I'm a little thrown off by that. And then Adam Schefter on Get Up on Monday morning, he said, quote, this game was lost in March. This game was lost when the NFL owners refused to ban the tush push from happening. It wasn't lost yesterday. Huh? I don't agree with that at all. I do agree that, yes, the Eagles false starting on these tush pushes, obviously, you shouldn't be doing that. But on the other side of things, because I always give the other side, like I said, you're going to get mad at them for using something to their advantage that they know that they can get away with. I thought the Schefter quote, I thought that was fully naive to say, especially because there were a lot of things that went wrong for the Chiefs that led them losing that football game. I mean, the Kelsey drop was the biggest. I talked about it last episode. The Kelsey drop was the biggest. He catches that football, they go up. The momentum is fully with them. I don't see a way where the Eagles fight back to win that game if they score that touchdown. And Kelsey dropped it, leading to an Andrew Makuba interception and like a 70-yard return. There were missed field goals by the Kansas City Chiefs. There were missed throws by Patrick Mahomes, even after the fact of that interception that could have been made to set the Chiefs up to win that football game. There were a lot of things that went wrong for the Kansas City Chiefs for them to lose that game. And every single one of those things that I just mentioned led to the tush push happening. So they created the opportunities for the Eagles to utilize the tush push against them because of their mess ups and their mistakes and the things that went wrong for them. So that was naive to say on Schefter's part. One of ESPN's best. That wasn't the best thing to say. And then everyone's acting like this is my last thing, and then we're going to move on. Everyone is acting like they can't run the tush push also. Everyone in the NFL is acting like they cannot do the same thing that the Eagles are doing, and they've been doing for 4 seasons. 3-4 seasons. It's copy and paste. Line up how they line up. Get physical, get low, how they get low, and run a tush push. It's not that hard. It's like the copy and paste button on your computer, on your phone that you use every day. Tablets are used on the sideline every day. There is a copy and paste button on that keypad, on that tablet. Use it. You can run the tush push also. So that's my thing. Moving on to Grant Calcaterra. Did not do a good job blocking in yesterday's and Sunday's game against the Chiefs. Was actually very bad, like F grade bad in the block game. The play that stuck out to me, that's sticking out to everybody, the very first offensive snap of the game for the Eagles. They go pistol formation and they run play action. A.J. Brown runs a go route right inside the numbers, basically down the seam. Jalen Hurts 100% throws that football to A.J. Brown. He was wide open. He places that ball how Jalen Hurts places the football, and they would have been up 7-0 first play of the game. But he wasn't able to because Grant Calcaterra couldn't keep the blitzing DB off of Hurts. Obviously, created pressure on Hurts, touched Hurts. Hurts had to negate the defender, step up into the pocket. And from there on, he just went ball security because he had to. And then I think even by that point, he stepped up and ball security came into his mind. A.J. Brown, that was a tight window. Tight window. I mean, his inability to block is ruining the Eagles' offense. I talked about Kevin Patullo a lot in last episode. I ripped Kevin Patullo basically to shreds in last episode. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. But on the other side of things, Grant Calcaterra's blocking is a whole nother piece to I'll say a whole that is the whole other missing piece to the puzzle right now with the Eagles offense. It was apparent last week against Dallas. He was not good at blocking at all, was not efficient. This week against Kansas City, he botched a lot of plays. A lot of plays. Probably more than you can count on your hands. I don't have access to the all 22. So I can't go and look at every single play. But I know for a fact it is more than you can count on your hands. I wish I had access to the all 22. So I can go and actually count how many plays he messed up for this Eagles offense, but it was a lot. On run plays, he was missing backside edges or backside seals on edge rushers, missing players coming through gaps at times, missing blitzes from defensive backs, pass plays, those blitzes from the defensive backs. He was failing to protect Hurts, causing him to miss open downfield receivers when there were any. Because once again, some of it does fall on Patullo, like I talked about in last episode. Go check it out. The tight end room needs to get better at blocking. Needs to get better at blocking. Hands down, 100%. It needs to be better. I mean, especially with Dallas Goedert out currently, it needs to be improved. Needs to be improved. I mean, tight ends aren't really good, efficient tight ends that are going to make a difference aren't really sitting on the free agent block in the free agent market. So you can't really go that route. I talked about it, I think 2 episodes ago, the episode right before the game. That came out on Friday, I believe. You need to go and draft a tight end. That is, I think we're getting at that stage. That's becoming more and more apparent that drafting a tight end, I think they should have did it in this past draft. That's becoming more apparent. A shout out though to Cameron Latu, a third string tight end. He had a vicious block on Charles Omenihu in the red zone. I mean, he moved the guy about 5-6 yards, just cleared the area. I think that play alone, you give him a shot, especially after seeing what Calcaterra did and has been doing. Fred Johnson, he was even used as an extra man at time against Kansas City. Did a tremendous job. So the blocking needs to get better. Yeah, it needs to get better. I don't think Calcaterra should be out there blocking anymore. I think you give Cameron Latu a shot. Get Fred Johnson in there as an extra man sometimes. And, I mean, that's half of the piece of the puzzle right there. So, we're going to move on to offensive scheme. We're going to talk about it a little bit more today because it's not good. It is not good. Like I said, I don't have full access to the All-22 footage. I've watched several plays from it, though, on social media. I owe Kevin Patullo, though, a little bit of sympathy. I just kind of mentioned it a little bit. With the blocking, I cut into him maybe a little too harshly in the last episode. The blocking was from Calcaterra was apparent in a lot of the failed pass plays. Now, does that let him off the hook? No, not fully. Absolutely not. But you can give him some slack. 2 things can be true, though. You give him some slack because of the blocking, but also it should not be this bad. Should not be this bad. I mean, it's been lackluster with Calcaterra's blocking. Last season, though, with Patullo, same discussions were had. That's why I also say you give him a little slack, because the same discussions were had. The Eagles' offense was struggling. People actually wanted Sirianni fired if you forgot about that. I will never forget that, because I was not one of those guys. Absolutely not. So, I mean, people last season wanted Sirianni gone. Canned, they say. But, like I said, it shouldn't be this bad, and they are predictable when it comes to the offensive game. The tendency to run the football. The Athletics' Brooks Cabina, he broke down some numbers. Shout out to Brooks. Through 2 games, they have a tendency to run the football when under center, 96%, pistol formation, 91%, and shotgun formation, 33.8%. All other NFL teams, when under center, they have the tendency to run the ball 69.5%, in pistol formation 62.7%, and in shotgun 26.9%. Those numbers are drastically different. A 30% difference. Very, very different. I think it's absolutely absurd that you are running the football 96% of the time under center. That is ridiculous. Like, that is crazy. You are literally telling the defense, I'm running the football when Jalen Hurts is under center. That is what you are saying. 96%. There is a 4% chance that the Eagles are going to pass when Jalen Hurts is under center. That is insane. Looking at it more, according to True Media, the Eagles are seeing 8+ boxes at a much higher frequency within the sets they run. So when they are under center, 82.8%, pistol formation 47.8%, and shotgun formation 4.4%. All other NFL teams under center, 50.1%. 50.1%. Another 30% change. Pistol formation 29.2%, shotgun 7.5%. And the efficiency drops with when they see 8+ boxes. When the box is stacked, the efficiency drops for them. Like, drastically. Those numbers are, like, the under center numbers are crazy. It drops off a little bit from the tendency to run. When you're looking at the numbers between the Eagles and all other NFL teams, I mean, that change kind of drops off a little, but the under center is crazy. Like, you are screaming, I am running the football, no matter what set you are in when you are under center. And I think from the common eye of football, people who don't break down football, people who are analytical, like, under center is the number one indicator that you are running the football. Like, historically. That's crazy. Now, like I said, the efficiency drops. Let me break down these numbers real quick. When they see 8+ boxes, the yards per rush for the Eagles, 2 yards. The yards before contact, 0.66. The yards per attempt, 3.5. On 7 less boxes. The yards per rush, 5.6. Yards before contact, 2.57. And yards per attempt, 5.7. So obviously those numbers right there are way different. But all of these numbers I just named, that literally shows how predictable this offense is and has been. It's very vanilla. Some people call it very vanilla. And then when you want to look at the pass play and their passing game, the Eagles have the worst pass play success rate of all teams in week 2. They had the worst pass play success rate. And Nick Sirianni, he said about Jalen Hurts, quote, I think Jalen Hurts is one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL, and I think he's shown that. People don't talk about that enough. Patullo is not utilizing that at all. Hurts has attempted only 3 passes of 20+ yards this season. He averages 6.1 air yards per pass attempt. That ranks number 31 in the NFL. 31. And Sirianni's talking about he's one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. He is, absolutely. I'm not doubting that. If he is one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL, then Hurts throw the football down the field. Simple. Simple. I don't know why Siri is popping up on my. There we go. Siri was popping up on my computer. Sorry. It's simple. And then A.J. Brown. Let's look at his depth of targets. Through 2 games, his average depth of target is 7.4 yards. The average depth of targets in his previous 6 seasons were 11.9 yards. He is averaging 0.8 yards after the catch on his 6 receptions this year. He averages 5.6 yards after the catch in his career. Those numbers clearly show good things happen when you throw AJ the ball downfield. Get him the ball in space. Get him the ball in space. They did a better job at getting him the ball against Kansas City than they did against Dallas, obviously. Get him the ball in space. You have a guy who thrives catching the deep ball. You have a guy who your head coach believes is one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. And you can't figure that out? You can't utilize that at all? That is concerning. Very, very concerning. So it has to be better. I will give him some slack with the blocking. I will give him some slack because last year it was a struggle the first couple of weeks. I will give him that. But it shouldn't be this bad. It shouldn't be this, like, it's easy. It is very easy. I even broke it down last episode as well. Go and check that out. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. Because I have areas for improvement heading into week 3. The Eagles' area to improve. Obviously, number 1, I talked about it with Calcaterra, the tight end blocking, mostly him. Stoutland, put the tight ends on the sleds, man, honestly. Like, let's do it. Put them on the sleds. Put them on the sleds. Get them in some blocking reps, some drills. Do it. Another area to improve. False start on the tush pushes. Those have to stop. Everybody, all eyes are on the tush push now in the false starts. I think it's too late. It's going to be banned next year, but all eyes are on it. I think a lot of people knowing it's going to be banned this year, Sirianni's going to want to run it a lot this year. You can't stop it. You gotta stop the false starts. Because they're going to get called now. They are going to get called. What they say, the rabbit is out the hat. Rabbit is out the hat with that. Another one, coverage in the deep passing game. I didn't talk about the defense at all today. I talked about it in last episode. Go check that out if you haven't. Coverage in the deep passing game has to improve. The defense has been lights out. Stellar. Tremendous. That's the only thing that has stuck out the past 2 games. I think it's been the only flaw from Vic Fangio's defense. Adoree Jackson, again, also obviously doesn't help. So that's that. And then becoming less predictable on offense is my last area of improvement. Like I said with Patullo, give him some slack with the blocking, things like that. But we got to be better. You got to be better. Got to be more creative. You got to utilize things more. Switch up your formations. Use more play action. Jalen Hurts is so good when there is pressure on him. He is patient in the pocket. He does not panic. More play action. I think you're going to get your guys open way more than you do utilizing play action, especially A.J. Brown with deep balls. Utilize that. I think the play that I mentioned, the first play of the game, Calcaterra messing up that block, and they did play it. I think that was the only play action that they ran all game. I think it was. Utilize the guy you have in the route tree. I talked about it last episode. Utilize those guys. More creativeness, more creative. Let me slow down here. Creativeness needs to be on display. Use the middle of the field. Herbert torched the Chiefs' defense in week 1, and it was because they utilized the middle of the field. Hurts had like 3 passes total on Sunday that went to the middle of the field. There you have it. As always, guys, stay up to date with Eagles' latest on Fan Arch. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.